Hey guys, welcome to another episode of TFL Today. We do these shows 3 times a week whenever possible. Monday, Wednesday, Friday mornings at 10 a.m. Mountain Standard Time. And today's show is all about sales and the most popular cars and trucks on sale right now this year in 2017 as of April. And behind me you see my personal 2002 Chevy Silverado heavy duty 2500 it's a diesel truck, and I'm also going to go over a few news, and the diesel truck behind me has something to do with the diesel smoke ban that has reached Colorado. So I'm going to talk a little bit about that towards the middle of the show, and we try to keep these shows to about 30 minutes, and towards the end of the show, in about 20 minutes or so, I'm going to start engaging a lot of your comments and questions. So please keep them coming. Let me know what you think about this subject. Once again, this is all about the most popular cars and trucks on sale right now in the United States. And I'm going to be focusing on the US because, I live here and that's the most relevant for us right here, right now. So, we always keep tabs on the industry, right? And I always look at the sales numbers, taking a look at which cars, crossovers, and trucks are the most popular. And number one on my list today is all about crossovers, because crossovers are super, super hot. And as you can see on the screen, I have the latest data here on TFLcar.com for compact crossovers. And in April, at least, the Honda CR-V was the top seller, and it sold about 126,000 units so far in the first 4 months of 2017 calendar year. But what I want to really point out is the sales increases. You have 26% up, 5.5%, 39%, 6%, 3%. All of the crossovers, including Toyota RAV4 and Nissan Rogue and the Ford Escape, Chevy Equinox, and the rest of them, the sales are going through the roof. And we've touched on this subject several times before, but why is that? Why are the crossovers so incredibly popular? And there are a few reasons, of course. First of all, they're a little bit taller, so they're more comfortable to get in and out of. They offer all-wheel drive as an option, which is important to a lot of people who live in cold climates or just want the security of knowing they have all-wheel drive. And also, they're basically hatchbacks, or very useful cargo space in these crossovers. And this goes across the board, including the mid-sizers, 3-row crossovers as well, and the Ford Explorer is leading in that segment, has been leading. But of course, there's a lot of competition here, and every manufacturer is bringing some sort of crossover. And the interesting part for crossovers also is that the Nissan Rogue, actually for the year, it's a number one. It edged out the CR-V just by about 2,000 units for the first 4 months of the year. So the Rogue is doing really well as well. You could see that the numbers for last year. Next, on the flip side, let's talk about sedans. And sedans, unfortunately, the sales are still shrinking. And this is kind of the whole trend in the industry. For sedans, the Camry is still the number one seller, and this is including the midsize and compact sedans overall, including also full-size sedans that are dwindling in sales. Here you see a 2017 Toyota Camry here, and here are a few numbers. The Camry so far this year sold about 114,000 units, but it's down 11% compared to last year. Number two is Honda Civic at 112,000 units, and it's down 8%. Then you have the Corolla and the Accord on the sales charts for sedans in general, and all of them pretty much across the board are losing sales when you compare them to last year, how they performed last year. So unfortunately, the sedans are not doing so well, which is a shame because, for example, a Civic is one of my favorite current latest sedans in general. It comes with a 6-speed manual transmission and a nice little turbocharged engine, and it also comes as a hatchback. So next in line are the trucks. And here I have, excuse me, the latest truck data. And it's broken down, I like to break it down by separate full size and mid size. And there's big news in the full size segment. The reason why there is a picture of a Sublime Ram 1500 here, it's because Ram once again outsold in the month Chevrolet Silverado. So Ram trucks in general, including heavy duties, sold about 43,000 units versus 40,000 units for the Silverado. And Silverado's been number 2 seller basically for a very, very long time. Of course, the F-Series is leading the Hefton in the heavy duty segment. Of course, some of you may say, hey, wait a minute, GM also sells the GMC Sierra trucks, and when you combine the Sierras and the Silverados together, those sales together outsell, or there's more of them than the F-Series, and that's true, and that was the case in 2016 overall when you look at the sales. But the interesting trend here is that, at least in April, take a look at this. Ford F-Series was basically flat, unchanged, based on compared to last year. Chevy Silverado was down 19%, Sierra down 15%, Tundra down 3%. Of course, the Titan is brand new, so it's coming up in sales. It sold about 4,000 units. But Ram is up 8%. So Ram right now is kind of bucking the trend. It's the general trend in April was that the trucks were less popular, which kind of surprised me because over the last couple of years, pickup trucks were just super hot, selling more and more units, including mid-size trucks. And on the mid-size segment, there's also in April, there also is a decline in sales, which was very surprising. And I was a little concerned because I was looking at the Toyota Tacoma sales and the Colorado and the Frontier and Ridgeline, and all of them are showing negative percentage. So basically they're declining compared to last year. So I was very surprised, and I was wondering to myself, is the mid-size segment for pickup trucks, is it basically at its limit? So people are not buying too many more mid-sizers because it was really hot over the last year, because the Colorado and the GMC Canyon were new, the Ridgeline just came out, the Toyota Tacoma was just refreshed. So there was a lot of new energy in that segment. But at least in April and March, the numbers kind of started to slow down. So I was a little concerned because Ford is also bringing out the Ranger in about a year and a half or so, and the new Jeep Wrangler pickup truck is coming out. So I was kind of rubbing my chin and wondering, is that a bad time to bring out a new truck in the midsize segment? So let me know what you think about all these sort of numbers. And that's kind of the general trend. A lot of manufacturers are still making record sales. So when you look at total sales, Ford, Toyota, Chevrolet, Nissan, and Honda are doing really well. And that's the order for this year, for 2017. Ford sold the most units in the United States, then followed by Toyota, Chevy, Nissan, and Honda. And a lot of other manufacturers, including some of the premium manufacturers of premium cars like Audi, Mercedes, and also some smaller manufacturers like Mazda and Subaru, they're also doing really well overall. So that's kind of the recap for the sales over the last few months, and I think we're going to still see crossovers sort of dominating, but they're growing so fast. I'm wondering, where is the limit? How far can the crossover segment go? Are they going to still be growing 20%, 30% for the next year or two? This is really interesting to see. And once again, everybody's bringing crossovers, including premium manufacturers. Finally, I wanted to go over some news. So once again, I'm going to go to TFLtruck.com, and near the end of the show, I'm also going to give away a hat to our Patreon subscribers. We pick a name at random, and those of you who support us on patreon.com/TFLcar, I'm going to give away a hat. That's coming up in a few minutes. But here's the big news, which mostly affects locally in Colorado, where we're based. But earlier this week, Colorado legislature has passed a bill basically making it illegal to quote-unquote exhibit visible exhaust smoke, or in other words, rolling coal. So this is a very controversial bill, and also obviously it's meant to protect the health and safety of the public, right? Because those trucks, and by the way, this bill is targeting pickup trucks and cars which have a gross vehicle weight of under 14,000 pounds. So this is not touching the commercial vehicles, which is really interesting. But if, first of all, so it's protecting the health and safety, because inhaling soot is bad for your health, obviously. It can cause cancer. Also, it's a safety issue, because if you cannot see on the highway in a cloud of black smoke, that becomes a safety issue for including pedestrians, bicyclists, and other motorists. So I really am for this, but how do you enforce this law? And I have a few questions around this general subject, because what they say is it has to be visually obscuring vision. So how do you determine that? Is a police officer or a law enforcement officer going to take a look at the particular incident and say, you know what, I think the vision was obscured in this case, or it wasn't in another case. So that's a little bit interesting how they're gonna enforce this law, and it's, at least initially, it's a $100 ticket if a policeman or law enforcement officer determines that you were rolling coal on a public road or in the public space. Interestingly, Colorado emissions, and we've done a lot of emissions videos on our car and truck channels. Colorado, for older diesels, and this is where my truck comes in, which is behind me, we have to test our diesels for emissions every year after a certain period of time, around 10 years old. And my truck is obviously 15 years old, so I have to do it every single year. And what they measure is actually soot emissions, or diesel particulate emissions. So they're shining a laser, they're putting a laser device next to the tailpipe, and they're seeing how much smoke is coming out, and they're measuring the opacity. And opacity is basically how much light is blocked by the smoke that's coming out. And the legal limit is 35%. That's the legal limit of the what's legal in Colorado. And my truck still, and it hasn't been really modified. Oh, I'm sorry. Hey guys, I think we're getting a delivery in our studio, so I apologize for the noise in the background. We're actually, I think we're getting an exhaust system for Big Green, and it's very exciting, and we're going to do a lot of videos about this. Obviously, installation of the exhaust system, then we're going to be doing another off-road test, and we're hoping to take Big Green to an event where we're going to be driving the new 2017 Chevy Colorado ZR2, and that's another part of the news. ZR2 started production. It's going out to dealerships now, so if you order the ZR2 pickup truck, if you're one of the first to order it, it's coming online and it's being delivered, so stay tuned for that. Check your emails or whatever and talk to your dealer, and that's pretty exciting because the ZR2 is, I'm thinking, going to be a really, really, really incredible truck off-road. Of course, we haven't tested it yet. That's coming next week.
Hey, Andre.
Yeah, what's up?
Look what just showed up here.
Let's take a look. This is really live television here. Holy, that's a big box.
That's a big box.
MagnaFlow exhaust, huh?
Yep, so this is for Big Green. We're finally putting a quality exhaust system on it. That will actually be happening tomorrow. Andre and I are heading over there to get that done. So that'll be super fun.
Somebody said they thought it was a pizza guy.
Yeah, the pizza guy's here.
No, but pizza guy brought MagnaFlow exhaust, so that's really awesome. Obviously, we're still running headers,
Yes.
We've been trying to break in, kind of break in the new engine. We installed, for those of you who don't know, we installed a ZZ6 V8, Chevy Performance V8 carbureted engine in our big green project truck, which is a 1985 Chevy K10 4x4. And we've had about 200 to 300 miles on a brand new engine, just driving it gently around town. Roman tried to take it up Gold Mine Hill, our off-road trail, and that was a no-go.
No.
In that case, it basically started for fuel when it started climbing, and we were running a little low on fuel for that particular run, and also we wanted to check the carburetor itself, making sure all the floats and everything was properly set up in order to get a good basically feeding the engine with fuel. But an exhaust system is another big part of it, isn't
Why
it?
don't we have him here? Why don't we do a quick little impromptu
Peek?
unboxing peek here? Yeah.
Okay, let's unbox it.
See what this. Ooh.
Wow.
So this should be a 2.5-inch system to match the headers.
This is really exciting because here's the thing about exhaust. When you're running headers, you don't really have a good scavenging effect of the exhaust coming out. Wow, there's a lot of pipe here. Holy cow. Well, we have plenty because we need to run it. It's a little oily too, so we need to run, obviously we've got both sides of the engine.
Yep.
And I'm hoping there's a muffler here somewhere.
Yes, there is. It's in that box over there.
Okay.
I'll show you guys here. This should be the muffler. Or mufflers, because I think we're going to be running a dual exhaust system.
And right now the truck is just so loud, and it's dangerously loud, but obviously we're getting a CAT.
Yep, two
catalytic
cats.
converter. So that's really important. And two mufflers. But you know what? These mufflers are not that big, and I'm really happy about it because that means they will not hush down the big V8 too much.
No,
And-
they should still give us some growl.
Wow, but they have chip foods all over this?
Chip Foose is all over Magnaflow here.
So this is very exciting, and so we're gonna be installing it when? In about a day? Tomorrow?
Yeah, tomorrow actually.
Jeez.
Take a look at that.
We never stop, do we?
No, we never stop. Stainless steel. That's awesome. That's really cool. Sorry guys, I'm kind of getting over a cold here, so.
So let me take a look at some other comments while Tommy is unboxing here.
Look at that puppy. That's awesome. So like we said, 2.5-inch, because that's what our headers are. But the current system's like 1 inch and 7/8 or some teeny weeny amount. Yep. So we've got dual exhaust, cats. These are quality items. I'm excited about this. This is gonna be cool. So basically, what the system we have set up right now is just flex pipe into the original exhaust from new headers. So it's really loud, but it's not efficient or doing anything of real use. So Andre, do we have any questions?
Well, some people are saying that they like Magnaflow systems. Keenan has it on his 15 Silverado. And a few people are excited about Big Green, of course, and we're also very excited. We never stop working on the truck. Obviously, we're trying to break in the engine. We're also trying to obviously get it running. People want to hear an update on Rusty Boy. So
Yeah.
Tommy bought a what is it? The 74
Yeah, F250.
F250 4x4, which is a high boy.
Yeah.
So what's up with that?
Well, what happened was it started popping out of the carburetor, and I tried figuring it out. I tried playing with the carb, couldn't do it. So I brought it over to our guy Devin at Devin's Car Care. He kind of dove into it, took it apart. Turns out it bent a push rod, which makes sense because it also had a pretty bad valve tick once it started popping out of the carb, like backfiring out of the carburetor. And what caused that was a bent push rod in cylinder number 4, and that was bent because a lifter collapsed. And the lifter collapsed, we think, because it's got a flat lobe on the cam. So we put a new lifter in it just to kind of, get it running again, get it running well. So it is kind of running well right now. Hopefully we'll pick it up today. Actually, this afternoon, I'd like to pick it up.
Okay.
But one of the exhaust valves is only opening about half of what it should, and it's just not.
So it's in rough shape a little bit.
Yeah. So I don't know what we're gonna do with that engine. If it's worth putting a new cam in it, going through all the lifters. Obviously, you'd have to pull the engine out, take off the heads and things. So we'll see where we go with that. But yeah, always an adventure here at TFL.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then this is obviously, we're putting this on because we're doing a really cool video shoot out in Grand Junction with Big Green. What's
ZR2.
What's that?
A lot of people are asking about this, and we've kind of addressed some of these questions already. ZR2 event, a first drive event for journalists is next week. It's happening actually near Grand Junction, Colorado. That's very exciting. And we're hoping to drive Big Green there. So that's about 300 miles. So we have to go over 2 passes: Continental Divide, Ike Gauntlet, Vale Pass, and it's not an easy drive. But of course, the engine is really powerful. But do we have this fuel system set up well? Is the truck running correctly? All those are still questions in my mind, in our minds, and we're installing the exhaust system tomorrow, so that we can drive it on Tuesday. So a lot of ZR2 is shipping to dealerships, like I said. So first customers will be getting ZR2s very, very soon, this month in May. Somebody said I should take my truck, the Silverado, on a Gold Mine Hill. I got it. I already did it. So you can go to TFL Truck YouTube channel and Google 2002 Chevy Silverado HD, and there's a Gold Mine Hill video. And I have the new all-terrain BF Goodrich tires on my truck, and these tires did really, really well. They helped me out a lot. So tires obviously are very important for off-roading. And of course we want to take Big Green back up there. Yeah, and Rusty Boy too.
Yeah.
So once we get all these trucks running
and Kent's truck too.
Oh yes, completely forgot about Kent's truck. So Kent recently purchased a what is it, a 94?
Well, he thought it was a 94, but it's a whole long story.
Yes.
It's like a mid-90s 1500 truck.
I call it the Remkenstein. That's my pet name.
I like Truck Norris. I think Truck Norris is a good name. It's this lifted Ram 1500 that's primer gray, and it's rough, but it's cool.
Yes. It's basically a Dodge Ram 1500 from 94, but it has like a different engine somebody put in there. Still, of course, a Ram engine, Dodge engine. And the transmission was failing, so he fixed the transmission. But it's lifted, it's got huge, basically mud bugger tires. So we wanna, and he's actually challenging us, Big Green. He wants to kick our butt at acceleration runs, off-road runs. So we have a lot coming up as far as pickup trucks and older projects are concerned.
Yeah,
because
my
now,
Ford is gonna win that drag race for sure.
ooh, wow, with that.
Stay tuned for that, because there's gonna be some smoke pouring out of that puppy when we're done with it.
What about an explosion? Maybe there
That would
might
be a good video.
There might be an explosion.
It's my truck, so that would be an expensive video.
It is your personal truck. It's not a company vehicle.
No, that's my truck,
And
unfortunately.
and next week, a couple more things coming up. There's also a Firestone tire event that we're going to. I'll be there. And then Roman and Ian are actually going to the ZR2. And actually, Nathan and I are also going to the Overland Expo in Flagstaff, Arizona. And we're always love going to an Overland Expo because it's all about, trucks, lifted SUVs, lifted trucks, RVs, military vehicles that go off-road, and it's so awesome, and we love the atmosphere of the Overland Expo, always fun. And there's going to be a Ram event and a Nissan truck event happening around the expo. So, boy, there's so much going on.
Andre, we had some questions. A guy was wondering where he can send us pictures of prototypes. He has some pictures.
Pictures of prototypes. We always love your guys' input. There's very, very simply, you can send it to info@tflcar.com. So info@tflcar.com. If you have truck questions specifically, you could send them or truck images to ask@tfltruck.com. So, and those emails go to almost our entire team. So that's a really good way of contacting us if you have questions or comments. Somebody's asking, does my truck blow smoke when I mash the gas pedal? And no,
I don't
actually.
know, does it?
I can't quite show it now, it's a little complicated, but it's in the studio right now. But the opacity level last year on my truck was about 6 to 7%. 5% is considered barely visible. So, like I said, Colorado requires to stay below 35% opacity. My truck, as it is, and it has about almost 170,000 miles on it, it's still about 7% opacity, so the smoke it blows out is not very dark, if at all. However, on a cold morning, when I started for the first time, yes, you will see some smoke, and it's kind of rough starting, and Tommy and I did a really, really cold startup video, and you could check it out on this channel, I think, also, where it was about negative 14 degrees, or negative 10, I forget, and I tried to start my truck, and it took me like 2 minutes,
13 days.
with glow plugs, cycling the system and just really trying to start my truck. And I don't think my truck is very thankful for that. I think it's really angry at me for that. So no, my truck doesn't blow a lot of smoke. I did chip my truck a few years back, and I've had it for about 9 years. I used a kind of a generic Diablo tuner, which basically all it does, it adds more fuel into the system. And yes, there was a lot more smoke coming out of my pipe. And then I just didn't like it, even though the power was there. It was making a little bit more power, but I just didn't like how it was performing. So I put it back to stock. And a lot of tuners actually do that. They help. You can save your stock program basically and try a tune and then go back to stock. So let us know what you think about all these laws about banning smoke in public, and also because a lot of trucks, guys like to race their trucks at a drag strip or at an event. So obviously a lot of people still want to modify their trucks, add different programmers to them, and take them to the track. But you have to be very careful and treat others respectfully. If you're in public, you really don't want obscure vision for other people and create safety concerns. Finally, I wanted to give away a hat, and what this is on patreon.com/TFLcar is a place where you guys can support us by donating a few dollars, and it can be $2 a month, $5 a month, or $10 a month. And those of you who donate $10 a month, and we really appreciate that, we try to give back. And every live show, TFL Today show, we try to give away a hat, and we get these hats at events, like the Overland event or other manufacturers' events we go to. So I picked a name out at random this morning, and I picked Matt Piccioni. So I'm hoping I'm saying your last name correctly. I apologize about that. But I'm going to email you, and if you want a Nissan hat, I'll send this to you. And we're going to be giving away more hats, obviously. Next week, we are, like I said, we're very busy. All of us are traveling. Like I said, Roman is going one place. I'm going another place. Nathan is going another place. So we may not have regular scheduled live shows next week, although we'll do our best. And we'll actually could stream from our events. So you'll probably see some streams coming out of ZR2 event, Firestone event, Overland events for Ram and Nissan. So there'll be a lot of live shows. They just may not be always at 10 a.m. But when we get back the following week, still regular scheduled programming, 10 a.m. Mountain Standard Time. You will see a lot of our shows, and you can give us comments and feedback. We always appreciate it. So thanks a lot, and we'll see you next week.